Hey everybody, good morning. How's it going? Valerie, Michael, Francois, Arturo, David, Merle, Mark, Sergio, JB, Dex, Maurizio, Mary, Don, Jorge. I think I got that right. I don't recognize your name, but welcome. Kayleen, Michael, Imuku, Craig, Svenborn, Jan, Donald, Val, Harry, Brian, Ted, Lieutenant Colonel Goose. Good to see you, my man. Welcome everybody. PD, glad to have you. And Cybertruck delivery event, pretty impressive to me. I guess they delivered 11 or 12. Something weird was going on there at the end. And hey, guess what? Tesla down 3%. Look at this. I got bearish and thought it was going to be a sell the news. Hey, Kimberly's here, everybody. God, I love her. Told you I was going to do it. And have you seen that Colina knife commercial on YouTube? It cracks me up every time I see it. The guy's like, my wife got me this awesome present. And he's like, God, I love her. And anyway, Andrew, good morning. And welcome, everybody. So there's the big news right there. Tesla retesting the roadmap line. If we don't stay above, watch out. Watch out, watch out. So, yeah, Rongamer in the VIP chat telling us he sold a chunk of his shares. And I think we might be on a path down to the target. We might. We got to watch for a break of these lows right here. We break those lows. We retested that. You know, this could be retested the downtrend line almost perfectly. I didn't move the lines on the chart. Could be doing this. Could just retrace at 618. That would be interesting. That would be super bullish if we just came right down to here, around 215. I'm going to set my alert there. I set an alert down here. And set an alert down here. Let's see what happens. And yeah, she's my beautiful wife, and you know, she is the boss. Like she'll tell you she's not the boss. I guarantee you, she's the boss. Anyway, she keeps us all straight between the two households. You know, my wife and I live there. We've been living there for like 20 years, and our daughter bought the house next door. So between the two households, she keeps us all straight. Tries to anyway. I don't have one of those Kulina knives. I just the commercials crack me up. I get them like on every device right now. I guess they think I'm an ideal buyer, or maybe it's because I showed everybody the commercial because it's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't have one. I don't plan on buying one. So anyway, all right. So Tesla, like I said, now the big thing, you know, the title, the thumbnail, everything was about banking, and there's a problem. There's a big problem, and I want to show it to you. So let's jump down. Oh my gosh, come on, Discord, don't do this to me. Scrolls all the way up when I want it at the bottom, and scrolls all the way down when I want it at the top. There we go. Check this out. This is from FDIC right here. I guess wolfstreet.com put this on Twitter. And check this out. Look right here. This is unrealized gains and unrealized losses on securities at commercial banks in billions of dollars. This is put out by the FDIC. This is not like anybody manipulating the numbers. It's just charting the numbers. Right here, Q3 this year, 2023. Look at this. Yeah, that was Q2. That was Q1. Q1 when we had all the problems. Right? Q1, way up there. Q2 got worse. Q3 got a lot worse. I said the banking situation wasn't resolved. This is getting to be a real problem for a lot of banks. More banks than have already blown up. So, big red caution right here. Why haven't I been like loading up on banks and stuff like that? Well, we haven't haven't really gotten the flush out yet. And you can see, like, even back here in 2008, during the great financial crisis, the final flush out there, not really holding unrealized losses on their books. Right now, this is a problem. All right. I want everybody to be clear on this. We have a financial problem sitting here. It's because of the rate raises. Goose and I have talked about this ad nauseum on the side. The banks just did exactly what the Fed told them to do. Hold treasuries. Right? Hold treasuries, you'll be okay, you'll pass all the tests. Well, they're holding treasuries, and then we raised the rates for the fastest pace in history, and all of a sudden those treasuries became illiquid, and you can't sell them, and you can't transfer them, and then they became net losses on the books because you can't roll that money and get it, like, it's illiquid. It's frozen up, and nobody wants to buy it. So the value of it to even sell it, if you could, is underwater. Why would you buy a treasury at 2% when you can go to the market and buy one at 5, 4, 5, 6%? So this is a big problem here. Not resolved. This is not getting better either. Everything looked like we thought. Mainstream media, everything. They fixed the banking problem. We got the emergency borrowing facility. Well, it's getting worse in Q2 and getting worse in Q3. Where's Q4 going to take us? This doesn't look too bueno. There's no bueno, as I say. Not good. Niche Keats, whatever little saying you like to say about not good, this is definitely not good right here for banks. So I brought KRE. That one's sitting on the roadmap line. We zoom this baby out, lower high. There was March. I don't know. Q3, we end up down here, popped up here in Q4, but we're going to roll over? Quite possibly. XLF, look at this baby. This one's actually rocking it here. Almost near the highs we had from right before all that banking problem. And looking very similar to that, FAS. Resistance all the way up there, 89, sitting at 71. FAS does tend to run into the new quarter, regardless of where we're at. Money tends to flow into financials at the beginning of the quarter. We have the beginning of the quarter coming up, it's December 1st now, so beginning of the quarter coming up in less than a month. And blackout period for buybacks starts in about a week. We're already back. We just finished earnings, and we're already back to blackout period for the next quarter. It's a never-ending vicious cycle in the market here. So, it's a whole different kind of thing, Lisa. It really is. Like this is not like the last one because, when you look at that chart, it's a different problem. It's a whole new problem. Whole new world. Back here, we didn't have net losses on the books. It was just leverage. It was just, that was mortgage-backed securities that had been collateralized and resold at, it was multiple layers of securities. And the straw that broke the camel's back, it was basically leverage is what got them in 2007, 2008. Now, it's the Fed's very own thing they told the banks to do that's getting them. So it means that companies and people in the know at companies of the S&P 500 and any public company enters a blackout period before they report earnings where they cannot buy and or sell shares anymore. So like, Apple can even though they authorized stock buyback, they're blacked out. They can no longer do that. So right here, this is the good old Uncle Sam creating this problem right here. So it's a different situation and a different problem, and we'll see what happens. Now, I've long said that the interest rate raises take 24 months to trickle through the real economy. April 2022 was our first rate raise. Right back over here. March, April. Yeah, April right there. April 4th. That's the Fed funds rate in the orange line. So we're looking at April 2024 is when that rate raise has trickled fully through the economy. And then it won't be until July 2025 until that rate raise has trickled all the way through the economy. Now the DGS2, the 2-year constant maturity rate, which kind of is the Fed funds rate set by their actual market, is declining. Every time this has happened before, right here we had a little mini freak out, but we came right back. This one, if we break below this zone down here, if we actually start going lower, we're going to create some kind of financial panic. This one right here this one showed up in the stock market, but it didn't really show up in the real, didn't affect people as much. That was from 2018-19. Back here, everybody remembers that one, the Great Financial Crisis and the dot-com bust right here. So those are the ones that have happened in memorable past for me as a trader. We've got another one brewing right here. Is it going to accelerate higher, or do we just break down and go lower? So this is a situation that is yet to be resolved. We may resolve it from a higher level here. This thing may all of a sudden accelerate higher. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did something, adjusted something, and all of a sudden we're accelerating higher. FAZ, these are 3x leveraged. This one plummeting out near the lows. And how low can she go? Well, as a decaying asset, it can go to 0. Eight for one, last reverse split back there in 21. This one may plummet out if we can continue higher. And this one will probably plummet out even if we drop down, create a spike, and then so I do speculate long term we're probably going up, but we got some stuff to work through before we do that. These are leveraged. Be careful on leverage right there. And I should probably circle back over here. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Don't trade if you can't handle losses. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get another thing right again. All right. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. No stocks, no options, no bonds, no cryptos, no futures, no forex. Don't buy them. Don't sell them. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. Has a fiduciary duty to help you, but you got to make sure you trust them. All right. Don't just hire somebody you don't know anything about. You got to go talk to them, meet with them, see if they know their stuff. All right. That's not what I do. I'm not advice. Constantly people in Discord, thanks for the advice. It's not advice. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You may feel like it's advice, but I'm not advising you to trade. Don't trade. Book your profits. Close your losers. It's not being wrong that costs you money. It's staying wrong. All right. All right. Market just opened. I heard the dinging. And we have Jerome Powell doing some fireside chatting today. Why am I talking about the interest rates and everything? Because of These two events right here. We have Powell speaking at 11 and Powell speaking at 2. And depending on what he says, we could see some volatility today. We got ISM manufacturing coming out at 10. I still think that we're going to see a large pullback. We've come up right to the resistance zone right here on my simplified SPX chart. We're just chopping right where we chopped in July before we took a big pullback. Could we spike it out to a higher high than we had in July? Sure. And that may be what we're doing here. We may be working on that and then spike it up and then drop it out. We did make a large upside move right there. Actually nailed a higher high yesterday at the close. This has been a pretty massive move. 10.8% on the daily closes. It's like 11.5% on the actual candle chart. After most of the time, I don't have an actual statistic for this. Most of the time, after we've done a 10 to 11% move, we tend to experience a 3 to 5% pullback. More often than not. Now, the interesting bit here is that this is the lowest VIX level where we've ever done a big 10 to 11% upside without some sort of multi-point pullback, a percentage, 3 to 5% pullback. This is the lowest VIX level we've ever had where we did this. Every other one in the history of VIX has been from a much higher level. So what does that mean? It means that that upside volatility is not being priced into the market. And I've seen several articles now, people saying that VIX is dead. That's a very dangerous thought. Very, very dangerous. That's why I'm holding long VIX out to February at $14. Got those $14 calls out to February. Very well, we may see this thing explode higher. Now, I don't expect much over 20, but I don't expect us to sit, just to languish down here indefinitely. All right. Be careful out there. This thing probably going to do something. It's unlikely that we don't just hang out down here without getting some sort of spike. We just don't. Now, S5FI, right there at the magic 80 line, right at 79.72. And if I pull this up on the live chart, bar chart webinar, don't have it live, looks like. Haven't updated for the day. We're probably going to push above that if we get any kind of green today at all. Now, what is that? That's just a big red line on my chart because that's the line in the sand. That's usually where a reversal starts taking shape and we go down. Likely to go back down to 20, at least to 50. All right. Just be careful. Everything's all the pieces are coming together here. When we were hanging out down here, I said we were likely to get the reversal and go back up to 80. Everybody's sitting there going, nah, JT, this thing's going to crash. Mainstream media says we're going, we're going to experience a Black Monday, whatever. Look where we are. All right. Just pointing out the obvious here. Sometimes it's so obvious that everybody doesn't think it works. I don't know why. When we were up here in July, I said, we're going to the bottom. When we were down here at the bottom, I said, we're going to the top. Now that we're up at the top, especially if we break out above it, above 80, we're going back down to the bottom sooner or later. And the history of this thing, we're going back to the bottom sooner or later regardless. All right, it's like the giant market oscillator. This is S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day moving average. We're going down eventually. All right. Am I going to hold on 140 calls? Any individual stock can buck this trend. As long as the pattern holds, You know, I don't trade my entire portfolio based on this. Individual stocks and choices and trades are independent. They're not all tied together. I don't go liquidate my entire portfolio just because we're at the top. So ES getting a little red today. I kind of speculated that we may do a head and shoulders. Had that on this chart for a while. And I still think we may retest that breakout point and go up for the head and shoulders breakout. So we may come back down here, come up, and then really get some acceleration higher. There's BA. Go check that one out here. See what the alert was. Oh, breaking higher than this one just tipped the odds to going higher. 262. Broke above that consolidation. If it can finish the day up here, very well may get 262. NQ already looks like it's rolling over. Be careful. That can come right down here. If you're not familiar with NQ, that's NASDAQ, QQQ. You divide NQ by 41. Right there, be the target. Russell, been hanging right under the roadmap line. Could not break through. It tried, it tried, it tried, it tried, it tried, it's tried. Looks like we're going to get this pullback. Yeah, roughly 4 to 5%, right back down to the 618 level. If we can't hold that, we'll go on down, make lower lows. Some sort of banking freak out in the smaller cap banks could wind us up right down here on Russell. Oil massively rejected that breakout yesterday. Massively. Look at that, right to the top of my box and then rejected right down. Today showing a little green. I was optimistic, but so far couldn't manage to get them breakout. Couldn't break out above this high over here. Couldn't break out above the roadmap line. Rejected right back down. More chop. Obviously not done bottoming yet. We'll see. More time. That's why I'm out to April on my oil position. I see no bullish anything on Russell. Gold looks like it's going to do the retrace, potentially back down to this area before we can push higher again. Now it can just turn sideways and then pop. That's entirely possible. This is the more common pattern where we would retrace, fill that gap back, and then get the extension. Bitcoin pushing new highs overnight, getting rejected back as we open, still hanging out in this channel. And I think we're going to ride this channel right up here into the spot ETF approvals. Then we may pull back. Maybe a buy the rumors, sell the news situation, just like Tesla. That was a buy the Cybertruck rumor, sell the news. Watch out below. All right. Dollar hanging out right here, probably coming up for the roadmap line test. So probably see that dollar climb right up in here. Then we'll see what happens. If it bounces down, we're probably going to break through this support and continue down to the mid-90s. If we can get up through the roadmap line, then we got next resistance right here where we found support, tried to break up higher and broke down. So next level right up there at the 618. Tesla we've already talked about. Carry, XLF, FAZ, Ulta. Look at this one. Nice pop. Right up into that resistance zone. I did kind of speculate we may see it rally right up in this zone and then retrace and then potentially break out. There's no retraces in here off the bottom. Not really. So I do expect a retrace, probably fill the gap before it can go higher. And if it doesn't hold the roadmap line, watch out below. ELF has been working on getting more bullish again. We get back above this 125 area and go on another run, possibly 152, possibly 167. And your stop would be down here like 81. I may go after that one on shares this time. The calls didn't work out so good for me last time. ESTC. Nice pop right up into extension targets. Blasted right through that prior high. That one may be working on something more bullish. Do have a big resistance up here at the gap down. That one may rally right up into that resistance zone up there around 140, 150. MSTR showing a nice pop on Bitcoin strength. I'm still long. Still expecting a rally up to that 1618 level. We popped up to the 1272. We retraced to the 100. Now my next expectation is right up to the 1618 right there. Hard to see. And if I put it on the log chart, it could be as high as 616, somewhere between 575 and 616, 615, that zone up there. And I may step off of it as we get to the top of this, at 570. I'm long with a call debit spread. Mara, working really hard to break higher here. Really hard. We have those highs right back there with the 618 zone sitting just above us. Gap down, gap down, gap down. So we've got some resistance we're working through here in this zone. Once we get above it, we can have a big up. Riot already above that high, working on its next extension and looking like the better horse in this race right now at this point. BTBT just working on getting above those highs. If we can maintain that, get it going, this one has large upside also. At 618 levels all the way up here at 375-ish. So we got a ways to go up to that resistance, and then a breakout higher could take us way on up. Possibly up in the 30s, but one step at a time. We got to break out here first. Don't get too overexcited. Nexi looks like a flaming pile of garbage. Reverse split. That's a dumpster fire of a chart. Don't touch this thing. Day traders love it, but I don't love it. Now let's see what THC. Hey. Pushing above. That one may be a long. It's a measured bounce setup right there. Possible Elliott wave 1, 2, 3 that takes up in here, or an A, B, C takes us right up in here. So it doesn't matter what if it's corrective or impulsive at this point, take us way on up here. Nice possible setup. Resistance is, we do have a little bit of resistance, but I may take a long on that one. IoT, nice pop off the, nice climb off the roadmap line. Up above resistance, 34, possibly 38 are the upside targets there. Path, hey, nice breakout. Finally did something. Sideways until it breaks, and now we're sitting right there at that gap zone. Watch for it to reject that gap, and we may come right back down to the box. I would be very careful. This is very muddy and not bullish. GPRC. I'm not even sure what that one is. It was on the list, but that just looked like garbage. Coin continues to push higher. I closed out my coin position. I didn't have much time left. I was able to get 1100% gain. And 141 is the next upside target. And then possibly this 190 above that. That's one big move up with no pullbacks. Be careful. We may find resistance at this 141 and do a deep retrace. How deep a retrace, JT? Well, it's not difficult to do. Just take the fib tool, go off the low, up to the high. We could see a retrace back in this zone right in here. And wouldn't surprise me to retest that. So somewhere in this area, move it down, move it down, move it down. Come on. Somewhere in that area. Would not surprise me one bit to retrace back down in here. That potentially could be a little bit bitty 1, 2, 3. Even if that is, we're way extended on the 3. And do a retrace. PIXY. That's just dumpster fire garbage. 1 for 24 split. That's bearish. Be careful. Don't trade stuff like this. Like, there's so much other opportunity out there. Don't buy stuff like this thinking it's going back up to 9 godzillion. It's not. All right, there's a reason why it's done this. There's a reason. Whether you understand it or not, there's a reason. Yeah, that was a reverse split there. That's a reverse split there. They're likely to do another reverse split when they get back below $1 again. Eventually, the music stops. The lights come on at the bar. And the one you're dancing with may not be so pretty or may not even exist anymore. Alt. Got a big resistance right there at the gap down. Definitely dropped out of that one. Biotech, be careful. Not a big fan of biotechs or medtechs or, in the FDA gets involved stuff. SMCI still looks bearish and coming back down to the roadmap line more than likely. That was a lower high. Still likely to go lower, make a lower low. BVOS. Market's open. BVOS popped up. Probably going to retrace that back down. MedTech specialty. And medical specialty. It's like all the words. Medical specialty, hospital technology, medical technology, biotechnology, whatever you want to say it is. That's all dangerous stuff, all right? Look, another reverse split right there. I mean, I can almost guess it. And if you zoomed out and look at the chart, another one of those. Why do you want to get involved in that? Like, what makes you think that all of a sudden that's it? That's it. They figured out how to make people live for 9,000 years. Yeah, I don't think so. Not yet. Dell, man, opposite chart. Moving on up. Moving on up. Likely, oh, look at that. Right up to the 1272 off that pullback. And probably going to come back to the roadmap line sooner or later. It's been a while since we've been down here. All the way back since March. It's due for a revisit right down here around 60. BNTX. BioNTech. Made that target. Next target down, 72. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. And that's a market roadmap bounce. Upside down. Already hitting the first target. Retracing to the breakout. Next target would put us down in this zone, somewhere around this 72 to 78 zone, right down in there, where I've got the big oval. MRVL. That looks like we're kind of bearish here. Could that make a head and shoulders? It could. Inverse head and shoulders. If we turn back higher, break back above this, that could be a long doesn't look overly interesting at the moment. You can set your alert up here at like 60. Then we could be going up to 75. But right now, this is kind of below the roadmap line, you know, and may go low. I would definitely be careful chasing that one at the moment. Up here, looks better. Right here, not so good. Yes, Rick, I did. I talked about that at the beginning of the show. You can rewind. Rewind. Did go short Tesla. And FNGO, retracing a little bit, retesting. This could retrace back to the roadmap line, actually. Could go retest this zone down here. Wouldn't actually surprise me. We did this before we did that. IXHL. Oh gosh, another biotech, medtech, reverse split, bull crap. Don't get involved in it. Dumpster fire of a chart. And wearing out the dumpster fire button, like that's another one. Just don't mess with that crap. Alps. Another pharma. Biotech pharma. It's like, look at it. It's just sideways. Like, where's the money? Don't mess with this stuff. There's plenty of other good stuff out there without screwing with stuff that just gaps up and down, and one day you're rich, the next day you're wishing you're crying in your beer. I mean, you know, Snow working on trying to break higher, found resistance right at the prior high. I'm not optimistic we're just going higher here. Not yet. This reminds me of Path. Like, look at that. That's not solid bullish price action. That's nasty sideways garbage price action. We could see a pop, and then it might be likely to drop. You know, PDD, after hitting the targets here, getting a little bit of pullback, but hey, that was bullish action. Right up past the targets. I can grind higher, but at some point here, these things go exponential, they run out of steam, and they come back to support. Got to recharge. Can't just go one direction forever. That's down $2-3. So that might be the signal that we're going to come back down and at least retest where we consolidated right there. So you may see this retrace here before it can go here. You see we retraced here, we retraced here. Those are reasonable retraces for PDD. Happens over the course of a couple weeks. That wouldn't be unusual. It'd be an echo. All right, that's the end of the list for today. Bias for the day. Super cautious still. It's been my game for 2 weeks, it feels like. Super cautious. We're getting a pullback. Whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, we're getting a pullback. Does it pull back from up here? Does it pull back from here? Does it pull? I mean, we're just grinding. I've been saying we're going to grind until we get the pullback. Come up to the point where we're stuck here. We may get one of those spikes. You see that big red spike? Spiked it higher and then drop the frick out. Be careful. How we find support here determines if we're going higher or if we're going to break down and go lower again. All right. I'll be back with you again tomorrow. If you want to come join me in Discord, all you got to do is check the link in the description down below. It's like $5, 3 months. Follow this, you know, get in the members area, follow the directions to get in Discord, and then hit me up and follow the rules when you get there. Rule number 9, and you'll get authorization to talk in the channels. So if you want to join me, that's how you do it. Otherwise, I'll see you again Monday. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell with the doodads so you know when I go live. Set an alert in your phone, 9:15. I'll be back with you.